Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa, where Tulsa's finest business and community leaders gather to serve the Tulsa community and the world. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day today. We've got a packed program, so we're going to move along. So last week when we greeted each other, it was National Lemon Cream Pie Day, so we asked each other what kind of pie we liked. Monday was National Cookie Day. So today, when you say hello to each other, let's find out what each other's favorite cookie is, okay? Go ahead and say hello. Cookies, cookies, cookies. So we've got a great program in store today. Diane Peacock is going to lead us in our invocation. Matt Davis is going to lead us in song and pledge, and Bob Sade will introduce our visitors. Diane?
Thank you, President Mike. Let us bow our heads. Dear Father, as we come together today as the Rotary Club of Tulsa, give us the wisdom and presence of heart to bring with us the spirit of thanksgiving. Remind us that Thanksgiving was not just yesterday, it is every day if we only take time to pause and make it so. As Rotarians in this season of festivities and commemoration, open our eyes to see the miracle of the moment, of the day, of the year. Give us initiative, strength, and wherewithal to create miracles while being guided by your grace. Thank you for the water wells brought to people far away. Thank you for the successful IBA dinner where we hear of greatness from greatness. Thank you even this week that we can ring Salvation Army bells, which allow others to give. Thank you for our Shop with a Cop to bring holiday joy to children and parents whom we have never even met. Thank you for our Rotarians here today, Mayor GT Bynum and Councilor Lakin. Give them guidance in their leadership roles in our great city of Tulsa. Open their eyes and counsel their actions to prosper in their decisions. Guide them in benefiting all of Tulsa, north, south, east, and west, that we may become a city even stronger. In this season of merriment and festivities, let us, in whatever religion we cherish, make it again a season of thanksgiving. Bless this food which nourishes our body for life and service to our fellow man. Let us feel the joy of conscious integrity as we go about it. Amen.
I see no piano over there, so in honor of our spectacular mayor, we're going to do an a cappella version of God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, you guys sounded great. You folks sounded great without a piano, but let's not get in the habit of not having a piano in the room. It should be in every home and every church. We have a lot of guests today, as you can imagine, with the speaker we have today. We want to give the mayor all the time possible, but we also want to introduce our guests and have them stand up. So I'm going to do this rather quickly. If you will stand when I call your name along with your host, we will hold our applause until all have been introduced. Andrew Ralston has Justin McLaughlin with Tulsa Regional Chamber. Chuck Wilson has 2 guests, Chuck Sullivan and Zeke Chansey with the Walker Brothers. Brandy Bynum has Nancy Hossey with New York Life. Carol Craig has 2 guests, Kathy Fox with 1 Million Cups, and Landy Blosser with Triangle Construction. Brandy Bynum has Quentin Roberts with Blueview. Roberts? What did I say wrong? Oh, okay.
Brandy brought him instead of me, I guess.
Okay. Do you know how to sign up on this sheet? Okay. Tony Oliva has our exchange student from Milan, Italy, Carlo Iafisco. Kathy Gorell has 2 guests, Tanya Blossett from Tulsa Air and Space Museum, the executive director, along with Sarah Fry, director of Nearview. Rob Walters has Robin Brickner. Karen Keith has Kathy Burrows, co-worker. Michael Wallace has Joe Lord with the Tulsa County. Tom Hardcastle brought Mike Bollock with Bollock Enterprises. Peter Jansen brought Breon Owens with Key Construction. John Dale has 2 guests, Megan Burrows and Casey Cooper with Gable Gottwalls. Becky Fields brought Karen Davis with Cancer Treatment Center of America. Graydon Yohe brought Tom Neff, one of his co-workers at St. Francis. I think it's his boss. And sure enough, the only one that I did not catch to ask how to pronounce their name was our member, Norm Asbjornson, which I think I said right, and his guest is Jenny Kaled. Okay, let's welcome all of our guests. We have a couple of guest Rotarians from Sand Springs. Please say hello to John Fothergill. And one of my favorite people in the whole world, because he and I served as president of our clubs at the same time, and he went on to bigger and better things. We have from North Tulsa, our past district governor from 2010-11, Wallace Williams. Thank you. Come again.
Thank you, Diane, Matt, and Bob. Appreciate you. And welcome, visitors. Thank you for joining us today. And we hope you'll consider joining us in becoming a Rotarian and having the opportunity to work along these fine business and community leaders. We promise you'll make some great friends and have a lot of fun while you're doing that. So this week's meeting sponsor is Terracon, Cliff Johnson and Mike Homan. As always, and particularly this week, we encourage you to do business with your fellow Rotarians. I'm sure I owe some money for that one, but that's okay. So let's thank all of our meeting volunteers whose service makes our meetings run so smooth each week. Thank you, volunteers. Okay, Tim, if you and Rod want to make your way up here, we have a red badge. We have a new Rotarian today, which is always a great day. If anything can stand above our mayor, it's having a new member this week. So, John, again, thank you for doing the new member orientation. Tim?
Thank you, President Mike. Well, I am just thrilled to introduce my good friend Rodrigo Rojas to Rotary today. Let me tell you a little bit about Rod. He's an up-and-coming Tulsa community leader. As Director of Development and Communications for Teach for America, Rod spearheads development and communications for the organization, this national organization that recruits and supports a diverse network of individuals to come to Tulsa and serve our public schools. In fact, if it weren't for Teach for America, Tulsa Public Schools would not even be able to offer summer school. Rod is also a recognized leader in Tulsa's Hispanic community. He is the founder and president of Festival Americas, a multicultural festival that celebrates the rich culture of Tulsa's Hispanic community and it inspires the next generation of leaders by awarding college scholarships. Rodrigo formerly served as a multicultural communications and business development consultant to Tulsa's largest employers. He has a passion for public service, for improving underserved communities, and celebrating diverse cultures. Isn't he going to be a great Rotarian? Rodrigo currently serves on the board of the Hispanic American Foundation and the Tulsa Citizens Jail Oversight Board. He is also the communications chair for Mosaic Tulsa, the Tulsa Regional Chamber's Diversity Business Council. Rodrigo graduated from the University of Arkansas, and prior to marrying his beautiful wife, Emily, Rod shared a house in Brookside with another future Rotarian, my son, Matt. So Rod, we're thrilled to have you in Rotary. Here's your Rotary lapel pin. Here's a 4-way test. We know you're already living by that. We're just welcome you. Let's welcome our newest Rotarian Rotary.
Does anyone need a ballot? Raise your hand if you need a ballot. Tim, thank you. And Rod, welcome. And as a fellow Razorback, woo pig. All right. Yeah, you're going to have lots of fun. I encourage you to get engaged in some committees. You're busy as it is, but you're going to have some great fun and help further serve the community like you're already into. So great to have you on board. We appreciate you joining us. Okay, so there's announcement number 1 on the ballots. Okay, raise your hand again if you need a ballot. Okay, next up on announcements. So we had our annual Shop with a Cop event this past Saturday, and maybe you all saw it. We had a great article in the Tulsa World. We had some publicity on a couple of the news channels. And this is an event that's a great example of Rotarians in action and Rotarians making a difference. I mean, this is such a great program. And I want to thank, and if you all will stand, Chris McCowan, the committee chair, if you're on the Shop with a Cop committee, and if you volunteered Saturday, will you please stand so we can tell you thank you. So here's the impact that we had. We had 24 students from our adopted school, Celia Clinton, and we in the Fraternal Order of Police provided gifts in the amount of over $4,200 to these 24 students, and there are about 110 family members. And these are families that, if they were going to be able to have a Christmas at all, this is going to be it. And so, again, this is a great program. I encourage you, if you weren't able to make it out this year, that you put that on your calendar for next year. Thanks again, Chris. You did good. Okay, so you're going to want to set your DVRs this tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for the interview of the year on the Rogers State University Perspectives with Sam Jones program. Hannibal Johnson, Stephanie Cameron, and myself are going to be interviewed tomorrow afternoon, and they're going to show it tomorrow night. So you won't want to miss that, I'm sure. It's on channels 109, 110, 793, and satellite channel 35. So we thank Royal for setting that up for us. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be great. Okay, so December 20th is our last meeting of this calendar year, and not only... Oh man, okay, I need to get on with this. So Tom Coburn, former U.S. Senator Tom Coburn is going to be our speaker, which is reason enough to come. But we're also going to celebrate the holiday season, and we're encouraging everyone to wear your ugly sweater on that day. Don't show up without your ugly sweater, because you'll probably be the only person. That would be awkward. I will have mine on, and I'm challenging anyone to beat mine. So come dressed appropriately. So any more election ballots that need to be collected? Everyone good? Okay, then I'm going to call the election closed. Thank you very much. On a sad note, I got word this morning, Mike Fine is in hospice care. Yeah, So keep his wife Sherry and his family and Mike in your thoughts and prayers, if you will, and we'll kind of keep you posted there. Okay, committee meetings today. Salvation Army bell ringers. If you're ringing a bell, go to Parker Hall to pick up your armbands, and you'll find out who your location captain will be. We're ringing the bell tomorrow, or ringing the bell tomorrow. Global and district grants are going to meet in room 233, and then Camp Enterprise is going to meet in room 232. Sir Charles,
Yes.
where are you?
Well,
I
I'm
never
right
know where
here.
you are. There you
Right
are.
here.
Okay.
I got a security thing from the mayor's office saying I couldn't go within 10, 15 feet
yeah.
of it. And based on that picture that you just used, now I know why. I thought it was Sergeant Arms, and they were concerned about the arms thing. And
Yeah.
I
Where
thought
did that come from?
I have no idea. That Photoshop thing's incredible.
No.
You could have, whoever did that could have at least given me a decent body, because I always wanted one.
Well, I thought that was pretty good,
Anyway,
actually.
Well, we'll survive. So anyway, Sergeant Time, and we should go right off the bat. Captain Ken Chapman walked 66 miles on Route 66 to help the homeless. 66 miles walking. Now, I've done my Fitbit before, and I mean, I've tried to get to 66 miles, and about 12 miles into it, I'm crying. So
That's a long ways.
But speaking of that, Captain Ken is a busy man. You can see from the pictures on TV, he's out here making sure homeless are taken care of, and he also has his friends and family here to help promote this wonderful thing that we're doing tomorrow. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, tomorrow is a great day for ringing bells, and we have something brand new for you this year to make it exciting. It's called the Dip Jar. So we're asking, have you dipped today?
Dear Lord, dipping. Okay, this is Oklahoma. You might not like opening up that thing.
So I'm going to show you how it works. You put it, it's a $3 donation. You dip the card in and pull it out, and then you get this great sound like you won the lottery. And literally, you are winning the lottery because you're helping people in their lives.
So how many times have you demonstrated that? Because I have a feeling you got a really high bank card.
Well, I have the fake one here.
Okay. Don't use the fake one. But we still need people, right?
We need people, and it is life-changing. It puts food in people's mouths. It puts shelter over people's heads. So come be a great Rotarian and ring a bell for us tomorrow.
Absolutely, and the sign is out front. There was some blank spaces, so I encourage everybody to come out there. It's about an hour of your time. It goes by so fast. It's so much fun. Done it every year. I hope you participate as well. So, let's see here. Let me go back. I was thinking about this time of year is usually not as nice as it is, and you know, the weather gets pretty frightful. And Linda, you had a line after that. What was that line?
Well, you know, the weather outside is frightful, but a fireside is so delightful.
Yes, yes.
3 years we've
Yes.
been working on that line. I'm so glad it came off. Tell us a little bit more.
Okay, I always had fireside in the spring when it's warm. So we decided to have it in the winter when it's cold. So we're hoping we have some really cold weather, January the 22nd through the 25th. We're going to be gathering in homes and different businesses in very small groups, discussing our future for the Rotary Club of Tulsa, small gathering places. And guess who just volunteered at my table? Mr. Will Smith. And you can overlook the gathering place because he has a penthouse and looking down. That's one of our fireside gathering places this year.
He's the Fresh Prince of Rotary, right?
Will? Oh my gosh. Okay, he's 30 or 40 people at Will's penthouse. Up to 30 or 20, not 40, okay. Well, anyway, we hope you will join us this year for Firesides. We're really looking forward to them. We want this club to fire up. Our club needs to fire up, and I'm going to, if I don't get more people to volunteer for their gathering places, to volunteer, I'm going to get on the phone and start calling. I got time.
She has one of those Rotary dollars at work, right? Okay, very good. Hey, all right, here we go. Sergeant picture. Okay, here's my sergeant photo of the week, driving down the street. Whoops, excuse me. And you can see great clips. This is a place I used to go to for $7.99. I did go to the other place, and this is what happens for $7.99 that they fixed. So Anyway, Sarge picture of the week.
Yeah.
It's a good time to save money. Just saying. I think it's around 71st and Memorial, so you're all good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do they do beards?
Do what?
Do they do beards?
I don't know. I didn't even recognize you up there earlier with
Yeah.
the Terracom thing. I thought, man, who's that person?
Yeah, that's a different guy.
All right. Thank you.
Different guy. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Yes. Rochelle, are they here? They're good? Okay, good. Okay, as you all know, our program committee has been working really hard this year to bring the best in weekly programs that will engage and inspire not only our members, but our guests. Mr. Mayor, I hope you'll indulge us, but we had this opportunity pop up, so we hope you won't mind that we booked an additional guest speaker to share the podium with you. Fellow Rotarians, please give a warm Tulsa welcome to one of America's best-known business leaders and a friend of Rotary from just up the road in Wichita, Kansas, Charles Koch and his wife, Elizabeth.
Lucky you, Charles. Your wife has laryngitis, so you're on your own. You get to do this by yourself.
So what's new? Seriously, Liz and I commend the Rotary Club of Tulsa on your longstanding dedication to youth education and its impact on the quality of life for all parts of your community. We're pleased to have this opportunity today to speak to you about something near and dear to our hearts. When we started Youth Entrepreneurs 26 years ago, we had no idea how many lives it would touch or how widely it would be applied. Together, we recognized an urgent need to fill a growing educational gap in our hometown of Wichita, Kansas. We were motivated by the belief that everyone could contribute and succeed if they acquired the values and skills of an entrepreneur. We've not been disappointed. YE has widely surpassed our expectations, having transformed many, many young lives. Today, YE has more than 27,000 alumni from schools across the nation. Thanks to tremendous support from generous organizations in the Tulsa community, including One Oak, One Gas, and Quick Trip, the YE program launched in 4 local schools this year. To keep this momentum going, we need your support. We love this program passionately because it inspires our students. Our goals for it are boundless. At next week's Rotary meeting, YE President Kylie Stupka will provide more details about this hands-on entrepreneurship program and the positive change it can create here in Tulsa. We hope you'll join us in our efforts to transform the lives of your students.
Not bad. I would have done it differently, but not bad.
That's the highest compliment you've ever given me.
Okay, so next week, Kylie will be here. Come join us. Okay, now I'm going to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, Phil Lakin. Phil joined our club in 2000. He is, of course, the CEO of the Tulsa Community Foundation and a city councilman representing District 8. Phil served as the president of this club in 2011-2012. In addition to his many leadership roles with our club, he's also a Paul Harris Fellow and a Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation Fellow. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Phil Lakin.
Thank you, guys. It's always a privilege and a pleasure for me to get to introduce the mayor of my hometown and our city. 1 year ago yesterday, GT Bynum became Tulsa's 40th and third youngest mayor. I know he has quite a bit to share with us today, so I'm going to try to get out of his way. He's going to share about his first year, what he's done, where he and his very able team are leading us, and how Tulsa will continue to improve and become better over at least the next 3 years, and hopefully 4 after that. You'll be very surprised and you'll be impressed, as I am and have been. What he won't say anything about today are what we, his friends, witness in his character every day. Over the last year, while enduring the stresses of leading the 47th largest city in America, he faithfully supported his wife, Susan, as she finished earning her law degree, taking the bar, and starting a new job. He sat in pickup lines at his kids' schools, attended their games, and has continued to be a dad who's present and supportive. He's engaged at a very personal level with city employees, taking small groups of them to lunch, hosting employee meetings, and even getting involved in everyday tasks, like answering customer complaint calls, which he did yesterday. That was probably a lot of fun. So he could serve an hour in their shoes. And he's created a highly positive, respectful relationship with the council where everyone is working together, even when we disagree, to better serve our city. GT's a good man, and we're mighty lucky and blessed to have him as our mayor. Please welcome Mayor GT Bynum.
Thanks. Thank you. I haven't even spoken. That's awesome. Got a standing O and you haven't even talked yet. No, thank you so much. I can't help but think about being here a year ago, speaking to you for the first time as the mayor, and so much has happened in the last year. Every day, when I walk into our office, I walk by this large wall that's there that Kathy Taylor had installed when she left from being the mayor. And it's a wall, it's a photo of every mayor we've ever had, and then it has a bio under them. And I love it because it helps me be mindful of kind of the continuity from a historical standpoint of the work that we have before us during the time that I get to do this job, but also the variety of people that have been in that job. And I just want to share this with you. I mean, just to give you we've had 40 mayors. I'm the 40th one. 7 of those have been attorneys, 5 real estate investors, 6 oilmen. 1 was a missionary minister undertaker. That was Mayor Mowbray back in the early part of the 20th century. If you were married or buried, he was your guy. 2 doctors, 2 bankers, 2 lumber company executives, 1 glass company executive, a sheriff, a civil engineer, a newspaper reporter, an electrical contractor, a hardware store owner, a florist, which was Jim Maxwell. He's in my pantheon of great mayors. A university professor and a mayoral aide, and then whatever I am. And what I think unifies all 40 of us is that the needs of this city at any given particular time vary as it evolves from a historical standpoint. But all 40 of those people gave everything they had out of their love for the city to make it as good as it could be. I'm also mindful of the history of our city when I think about what I love about Tulsa. And that is instructing what we've spent the last year doing and what we'll be doing for the next 3, which is when you think about the best things in Tulsa, the things that we are most proud of here, the mindset that created those things almost every time came from people having very high expectations of our community. I'm often asked, how did Tulsa go from 1,400 people in 1900 to 400,000 in 2000. How did we grow that quickly? When they discovered, a lot of time people think it's because oil was discovered here, but oil was discovered in lots of other fine communities throughout Northeast Oklahoma that didn't grow like that. And I think the difference is that we hit the jackpot on the people that came here and the culture that they instilled here. They didn't want to be the oil capital of Tulsa County. They wanted to be the oil capital of the world. They wanted to be America's most beautiful city. They wanted to build an airport when most people had never seen an airplane. That was the mindset. And that is the mindset that we're bringing moving forward. We want, and this would have been, I guess, 2 weeks after we were all sworn in last year, we had a mayor council retreat. We'll be doing another one of those next week. And it's an opportunity for us to get together as a team and talk about where is it that we want to take Tulsa as a city in the year ahead and in the years ahead. And we agreed, all 10 of us and the auditor as well, to a T, that our goal is that we want Tulsa to be a globally competitive world-class city. I think we shared a common frustration in the last decade or two that we were spending too much time as a city gnashing our teeth over Jinx outfoxing us for an outlet mall or Broken Arrow getting a hunting goods store. When the reality is the cities that are growing around the world, they're not growing by one-upping the suburban communities around them. They are growing by working with their region to compete against us and other cities like them all around the world. So we decided we're shifting our focus. We're going to work with the suburbs to be as competitive as we can be and accomplish all that we can to make Tulsa a globally competitive city. Because Tulsa should expect to be competing, not just with cities like Austin and Denver and Chicago, which we've done successfully in the last year alone, but with cities like London and Shanghai. And so that's our focus moving ahead. Well, how do you do that? One of the things I've loved is that by changing our focus in this way, it's caused us to focus on much larger issues as a city. And in looking around, we found that there are 4 big things that we need to be focused on to be as competitive as we can be. First, we have to be a safe place. If Tulsa or any city in America is not viewed as a safe place to live, to work, to raise a family, then people leave and that city goes extinct over time. There are plenty of examples around the country where this has happened in the last 20 years, where a crime became an issue, it was not successfully addressed, and it caused that city to decay from the inside out. Well, how are we going to address that in Tulsa? Well, for starters, this year the City Council and I put together a budget that includes the largest single-year hiring of new police officers in the history of the city. To give you, to put this in perspective, in this century, on average, we hire 30 officers a year. This year we're hiring 90, and we've committed to do that again next year. We recognize that to get our violent crime rate, which is currently unacceptably high, we have to have the right number of officers, and we don't have those today. But we also recognize that one of the major concerns, and you see it all around the country, is around policing and safety, is that in America, we fell into the trap in the last couple decades of saying that making communities safer is up to the police, when the reality is making communities safer is up to every person in that community. The police have to have help from citizens, and citizens need to be empowered to help the police. And so we pulled together a commission on community policing, included police officers, everyday citizens, and elected officials. And they spent 3 months looking at best practices all around the country and came back and gave us a list of 77 different things that we need to do here in Tulsa. We have committed to implement every single one of those things. It will be the most comprehensive community policing strategy implementation in the United States. And we are doing that over the next year. We're already over halfway through implementing it. And this is everything from every officer having a body cam or having citizen advisory boards where citizens can give police officers and the leadership of our department advice on how things are being perceived and what they're hearing, but also so police officers can explain, here's the strategies we're implementing, and please help citizens understand why we're doing these things. We also recognize, though, that we need to be smarter about how we're policing. If I were to ask you, what do you think the number one thing that we take people to jail for in the city is? What would you say? One time I asked that and people said homicide. And I was like, whoa, gee, no, drugs, close, public intoxication. 40+% of the people that we take to jail, their top crime is public intoxication. And we take them to jail, we put them in jail where they will largely get no assistance, and then they are eventually prosecuted and eventually get back out. Many of them have a very high recidivism rate. We recognize there is a far superior way to deal with this. Our neighbor, and it was brought to our attention by our neighbors down the highway in Oklahoma City who've had it for several decades. Their police chief says it's one of the most important tools they have, and it's called a public inebriate alternative. So we are partnering with 12 and 12 to open this in the first quarter of 2018. The council and I put it in the budget for the coming year. And what that will do is if somebody is picked up, and by the way, this is not for driving under the influence. That is a felony crime and people go to jail for that. But if you're walking down the street, let's say you've had a little excessive merriment during a holiday party. You're walking down the street, the police officer decides to identify you as being publicly intoxicated. They will ask you, I can take you to jail, or I can take you to this place where you will sleep it off for 8 hours. You'll be given information on assistance that's available to you, and then we will put you in a cab and bring you right back here. And even when people are drunk, almost always they take door number 2. And what that does and what that has meant in Oklahoma City is they found that you have 2 basic clients for that type of pickup. You have people who have a serious drug and alcohol problem and need someone who's there and ready to provide them with assistance. This does that. Or you have people who've made a once-in-a-lifetime mistake, maybe some ladies out at a bachelorette party or Rotarians at a holiday party, and don't deserve to have a criminal record for the rest of their life. And so this also takes it where a police officer can spend 60 to 90 minutes booking someone into jail. Here it takes 15 minutes and they're back on the street identifying more serious crimes to apprehend someone for. So we recognize that there are things that we can do to be smarter on crime, to be more effective, and we're implementing those. We are really transforming public safety in Tulsa here over the next couple of years. So that's one. The second is you have to have incredible quality of life. Now, I think everybody here knows that we very publicly engaged in competing for Amazon. We'll wait and see. We expect to hear in the first quarter of next year on what they decide on that. And a lot of people talked to me and they said, oh, it's just, I think it's so great that you applied. And even when we lose, at least that you learned from going through the process. I don't think they understood, we expect to win. And we expect to win for one very simple reason. And that is our competitive advantage here in Tulsa, which is we hit the cross-section of cost of doing business and quality of life in a very key way. There are plenty of cities that are bigger than us and have more professional sports teams than we do and have maybe larger cultural institutions than we do, and also have cost of doing business that is through the roof, that is nowhere close to what you can do here in Tulsa. Then there are other cities that have much lower cost of business than we do, but their quality of life is in the gutter. We hit that intersection perfectly here in Tulsa. We have quality of life in Tulsa that is far superior to what people could expect unless they're in a city that is many times larger than we are. And so we can't rest on our laurels on that. And fortunately, because of the Citizens Approving Vision last year, we're moving ahead on really a transformative series of projects. I've told you this last year, but I'll repeat it again. 5 years from now, you will have a lake in the Arkansas River that will change the way people use recreation in our city. It'll be 8 to 10 feet deep. I swam down the river this year in the Great Raft Race. I stand before you as physical proof that you will not turn to ashes if you come into contact with the water in the Arkansas River. It is safe. You will have the greatest public park gift in the history of the United States of America open on the eastern shore of that lake. You will have we will be the only city between Kansas City and San Antonio that has bus rapid transit lines that will change the way people use public transit. You will have an Olympic sport, USA BMX, housed in the Greenwood district of North Tulsa, bringing people from around the country to see their Olympic training and trials in the Greenwood District. You will have Gilcrease, the greatest collection of Western art anywhere in the world, with everything from Benjamin Franklin's copy of the Declaration of Independence to Native American artifacts to now Bob Dylan's archive, all in one museum. We're going to build a museum that is worthy of that kind of collection. We're going to have fighter pilots from all around the country coming to Tulsa to train on the simulators that we are building here. We're going to have a revitalized and expanded fairgrounds that we are partnering with the county on to improve. And I've just told you about 6 things, and there's 25 different projects that we're implementing in the next 5 years. It will physically transform our city and keep us on the map as being competitive when it comes to quality of life. Those are great things, but we also recognize that there are people in this community that need to have better quality of life. When a kid that is born in North Tulsa is expected to live 11 years less than a kid that is born in South Tulsa, we recognize we have work to do. And so we have partnered with the Rockefeller Foundation out of New York to implement a resilience strategy for Tulsa. We've spent a year. It will be released in April, so it will be about a year and a half's worth of work putting this plan together that will be a comprehensive strategy on how we can address racial disparities in our community. I also have to mention on quality of life that we had in just the last month and a half, probably next to, and I would say, our fellow Rotarian, Sid Patterson, creating Up With Trees, I think is the greatest conservation achievement in the history of Tulsa. Number 2 happened a month ago, which is that the city of Tulsa deeded all of its land on Turkey Mountain to the River Parks Authority. The George Kaiser Family Foundation did the same, which will protect Turkey Mountain in perpetuity for future generations. We also entered into a 50-year lease so that the land along the river in the river parks is protected for future generations. Because when I came in, as mayor, I was alerted that the city could revoke any of those leases in 30 days and had threatened to do so in the last couple of years. That prevented private investment, philanthropic investment, and it left supporters of our river parks and Turkey Mountain in a very precarious position. So we eliminated that by giving the land on Turkey Mountain to the river parks and entering into the long-term leases on the land that's along the river. We also know that the third thing that we have to do to be globally competitive is we have to be known as a welcoming community. The cities that are growing the fastest around the nation right now are the cities that don't shun their immigrant community. They are the cities that embrace them. Thank you. In Tulsa, if we had not had the growth in our immigrant community in the last decade, we would have lost population. 26% of the growth in population, the immigrant community in Tulsa in the last decade has grown by 26%. And so I brought in a member of my staff whose job is to find ways that we can help our immigrant community in Tulsa feel safe here, feel welcome here, and identify great job and education opportunities for them. Just last week, we hosted the first New Tulsans Summit. It attracted people from around the country who came here to hear about how we are empowering immigrants in Tulsa rather than shunning them like too many cities around the United States are. The last thing that we have to be known for, if we're going to be as competitive as we can be as a city, we have to be an educated city. And to be honest with you, this is my greatest area of frustration in my first year. Now, we've had great successes on one hand. It would have been actually a year ago today, my first full day as mayor. We convened a mayor's education cabinet that has our superintendents of our K through 12 institutions, the presidents of our higher ed and career tech institutions, and they tell me what we can do to be helpful to them as a city. And one of the things that popped up very early on is that only 50% of Tulsa third graders are reading at an appropriate level. They're only 50% of them. And that's important, not just for those kids, but third grade reading proficiency is one of your greatest indicators of whether a kid will graduate from high school or not. So that would cause one to have a great deal of panic. If you think about, are we producing an educated workforce that's graduated from high school? Well, if only a decade from now, that doesn't look very good. Fortunately, there is a solution. It's called Reading Partners. The city of Tulsa has partnered up with Reading Partners. We're now the largest employer partner in the nation. And the principle behind it is super simple. An adult takes an hour a week to practice reading with a kid who needs the help. For kids that participate in this program, in 1 year, their success rate is over 90%. Now think about what that can mean both for the kid, but also for their teacher in their classroom. If instead of 50% of the kids in a classroom are reading at grade level, suddenly 95% of them are. It would be transformative for Tulsa schools. And so at the city, I've told all of our employees and signed the relative executive order that they can take their lunch break once a week to go practice reading with a kid. And we will track the results of every single one of those kids that our employees partner with. And at the end of the academic year, we'll be able to show the citizens of Tulsa, here's the difference we made in reading proficiency thanks to your employees volunteering their time once a week. I encourage any of you who are interested in joining us on this, you can go to Reading Partners' website, and it's super easy to sign up. But we also recognize that we are existing, and to be honest with you, so much, and this is probably too candid, but I'll just say it, so much of what we are doing is to build a citadel here in Tulsa in spite of and really to protect our citizens from everything that is happening in the state of Oklahoma around us. Yeah, sure they'll appreciate me saying that. But when you've led the nation in imagine if, like, OU's going to be in the playoff here in a month. Imagine if OU won the national championship in football 5 years in a row. That would be amazing. And yet what we've led the nation in for 5 years in a row is cuts to K through 12 education. And so at the beginning of the year, the council and I passed a resolution that changes our policy at the city and says that support for education is a municipal function. In the past, the city provided crossing guards, and that was it. We told the schools, you're on your own. Well, not anymore. We are going to be partners with them and advocates for them in the upcoming legislative session. We're hoping to change the rule that prevents local communities from funding education at the level they think they ought to. For our neighbors, thank you. And the principle behind this is super simple. Every community has different needs as it relates to education. Our neighbors over in Locust Grove, they love having 4-day school weeks. They believe that it's helped them recruit more teachers because they get teachers that only want to work 4 days a week. But here in Tulsa, if we had 4-day school weeks, it would be an economic development poison pill for us. I cannot tell you how many potential employers have come to me and told me, we love your quality of life. We love the cost of doing business here. We love your water supply. We love your cheap electricity. We love your workforce. But are our employees' kids going to be in school for 5 days a week? It's embarrassing that we have to answer that question. And right now, one of the reasons that we have to answer it with uncertainty is because local communities can't decide how they fund education. We are held captive to the state. If we passed a property tax initiative to fund operations the same way we do capital, we would be punished. So we want to change that. These are the things that we're working on, but as important as the policies that we're trying to change and the initiatives we're trying to pass, I think how we're doing it is crucial. As Phil mentioned, we've changed the way that the mayor and the council work together. We work collaboratively. I think we've changed the way that we work at the county. We work collaboratively. These initiatives that I just talked about, please do not leave here today thinking that these are all city initiatives. These are all initiatives that the city is working on with our partners in the community. Because we recognize the days of everybody has their silo and they're responsible for that one thing, that's a very antiquated notion of how to accomplish great things. If we're going to be the kind of city that we want to be, we have to be working together and identify those goals and then pull our city together, pull the people that are passionate about that together, and work to accomplish them. And we are doing that. And it is because, and we're being recognized not just around the nation, but around the world for it, which is wonderful. We're setting a different standard here in Tulsa about how a community can pull together and accomplish great things by setting aside the way things have always been done and putting our community first. So I really appreciate the opportunity to visit with you today. There's so much going on, but it's very exciting to be a city that is so energetic in pursuing greatness. And I appreciate so many of you in this room are helping us do it. Thank you.
Mayor Bynum, you are truly a Tulsa treasure. And we encourage you to keep reaching for the stars. Don't let anyone hold you back. We need that, and we appreciate that. Your only potential competition, though, is our speaker's gift this week was written by a young lady who apparently plans on running against you. It's Amelia Bedelia. I'm sure you're familiar with her. Not only is she planning on running against you, but she's written a book about it. So that's some stiff competition there, I got to tell you. No, but thank you. We do appreciate you and appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with us today. So before we adjourn, I want to announce the results of our election. And in doing so, I want to share with you next year's board. It's a very, very strong board. So as I call your name out, will you please come up here and stand in front of us awkwardly so we can recognize you at the end? We'll start off with you, Hannibal, our president-elect, next year's president starting in July. Woohoo! Hannibal Johnson. Our president-elect nominee for the year 2019-2020, Becky Fields. Yes. Next year's chairman of the board, Matthew Bristow. Secretary-Treasurer, Jerry Barrientos. It's getting awkward, isn't it? Yeah. Sergeant-at-Arms, Mandy Winton. Is Mandy here? No? Okay. Let's hold our applause till the end, and we'll... maybe someone will stand up that way. Long-range planning liaison, Brenda Melancon. Club Service Director, Casey King. Community Service Director, Regina Moon. International Service Director, Bill Richard. Membership Service Director, Chuck Wilson. Vocational Service Director, Brandy Bynum. Youth Service Director, Robert Babcock. And Director at Large, serving her third of three-year term, Dana Burks. Director at Large, Tim Nall, who will be serving the second of his three-year term. And our newly elected Director of at Large, starting a three-year term, John DeBar. Now we get the awkward picture. Okay, you're dismissed. Thank you very much. That's going to be a great board, great future. I'm looking forward to next year. So again, just real quick, our speaker next week is Kelly Stupka with Youth Entrepreneurs. That's going to be a great program. And the week after that, former U.S. Senator Tom Coburn. He wrote a book recently titled Smashing the D.C. Monopoly. So that'll be interesting to hear about, yeah. We know he's got some opinions there, so come listen to that. So now, I encourage you to go out and tell your Rotary story, and don't forget to bring a friend to Rotary next week. We are dismissed.